Hello. Another in one of my adventures in trying to apply the ideas from statistical process control to Power BI. For some sample data, I'm using the fact sales table from the Contoso sample database. It has about 3 million records in it. The first time that I tried this, I tried doing the calculations necessary to generate an XmR chart in SQL Server using a series of about 10 queries. It worked, it generated the data, but 3 million rows was a lot, and the queries would not work unless I limit it to 1 year's worth of data at a time. Contoso holds 3 years of data in the sample data. So I tried building it in Power BI. I loaded the table into Power BI, and then I used Power Query to remove the rows that I didn't want or didn't need, and to sum up the amount of sales per month, because I decided I would do my numbers by year and by month and by product. I ended up having to add 3 columns in order, because some of the functions I was using, it was the only way I could get access to them. So this column is the moving range. The moving range is a difference between 1 month's sales and the next. This column is true if the month's sales are higher than the XmR statistics predict that they normally will be. And this column is the reverse. It's true if the month's sales are lower than the numbers, than the lower limit for the expected sales for that month. I used this report to see what I was doing and added the measures one by one. I put a slicer in to cut the numbers down by year and cut them down by product so that I could see whether my measures were giving me anything like reasonable numbers. For an XmR chart, you need to have an average, you need to have a moving range, and then you need to have the average of the moving range. In this case, I'm doing it by year because I want to report on the 3 years separately. And then you have a lower process limit, which is the number that in the normal course of things your sales will not fall below, and an upper process limit, which is the number which in the normal course of things your sales will not go above. Once I had built the measures and it looked like the numbers were coming out correctly, then I built this report. This report illustrates the use case I had in mind. If I were tasked with reviewing the sales for all the products, for all the brands, and looking for the ones that needed attention, that would be a lot of products and a lot of months to go over. So here, I'm using the true and false columns to only filter for months that are lower than they were expected to be, or lower than the normal lower boundary of the range that they vary in. I'm not selecting a product, but I am selecting a brand. So this list of months and products gives me a much smaller list that I can focus on, that I can drill down into another report on, that I can try and see what's going on and save myself an enormous amount of time trolling through or trying to build reports that will reveal these products to me by other means. The whole experiment has convinced me that applying the statistical process control ideas to databases will give a user an enormous advantage by cutting down on the amount of data they have to look through so that they only can focus on the significant data, on what is called a signal rather than the noise that the data is trying to give you. Thank you.